Hello and welcome to Empower, the program that spotlights women who are trailblazers, innovators, and change makers. Women who are extraordinary and shaping our world with their courage, resilience, and their achievements. I am your host, Asonye. Well, on today's episode of Empower, we are shining the spotlight on a remarkable voice in broadcast journalism. Our guest has built an inspiring career as both a host and producer, earning industry recognition and accolades for our dedication to telling impactful stories and, of course, lots of shows that she has anchored. She has become a familiar face and voice on the Aso TV and radio breakfast show, where her professionalism and creativity continues to set her apart. Now, beyond the lights and cameras, our journey reflects resilience, passion, and a deep commitment to the craft of journalism. We're excited to hear her story. Of course, I'm super excited also. Our challenges, our vision for the future. So please join me in welcoming Joy Asonye.
Thank you so much.
Drum roll.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
I'm super excited having you on our set today.
Oh, I'm just as excited to be here.
And it's actually good hosting your colleague on the show.
And I think I'm going to struggle throughout this interview because I've always been used to being where you're seated, where I ask the questions. But let's see how this goes.
Well, let's dive right into it. Right. Well, Joy, you've built a reputable, career in journalism. Of course, you've done the job, you know the job. But maybe to call you a veteran in this field, I would like you to share your experience. How did it start for you? How did you know, I think I want to be a media person? Or what was your starting point for you? Want to get that story, please?
Well, the story isn't very interesting. I was one of those children that never knew what they wanted to be in future. I don't know if you know them. When others would beat their chest and say, listen, this is what I want to be, I was always studying law or studying mass communication and all of that. I was never sure what I wanted to be in future. Yeah. However, I got to a stage in my childhood, would I say, when I got to secondary school and push came to shove, I had to make a choice. I decided, you know what, it's law I wanted. However, I was always fascinated by news anchors, the way they spoke, their diction, their voice modulation, their phonetics, everything about the media girls I wanted to be.
Okay.
But I just kept pushing it aside. I remember I was one of the people who would go to restrooms with newspapers and I wanted to read like newscasters. So you see me all the time, I'm trying to read. You hear a voice coming from the restroom and you're like, excuse me, what's happening there? But I was one of those children. I really loved reading. So when law didn't work, I was frustrated. I mean, I applied for law twice in a row. Oh, wow. I got the cutoff point and Nigeria happened to me.
Exactly.
Because I had parents, my father is an academic. My father was even a lecturer in the school. You would not believe it. My father was a lecturer. So each year when I have the cutoff mark, he's like, relax. You're definitely going to get it because, you just got the cutoff mark. I went way beyond the cutoff mark. My father does not believe you hustle to get admission because that's not what he knows. Even though he was in the university system where he could have been, exposed to the racketeering that happened, my father would not do it. So when I tried twice, the second time I tried, I decided to go ahead with public administration that I was given instead of law. That was in University of Calabar. I did public administration year 1 when others were writing JAM. I'm like, you know what? To teach my parents a lesson. I am going to leave Calabar. I'm going to write write JAM and leave Calabar all together. I'm going to a land I don't know because I am that opinionated or stubborn. Yeah. And this was me at 17 at the time. I wrote JAM.
Now you took that decision on your own. I took that
decision on my own, and I wrote JAM. I wrote for Lagos first. Abuja was first choice, Lagos second choice. I had no one there, but I knew that I was not happy doing public administration at the time. So I came to Abuja to do the post-UME. Lagos never called me back, but I got an email from Abuja to come do post-UME. Believe it or not, I came to do post-UME and never returned. This is me still in Abuja.
Amazing.
And I didn't study law. when I came to Abuja, I hustled. I met whoever I had to meet. I had my mass communication. I had my cutoff mark. I was excited once again. They post me. I did well, and here I was in a strange land, sleeping on the floors of whoever pities me for the day. It was, and I was 17, but I was very vivacious and very
Confident?
confident. Yes, I had a goal and I wanted to achieve it. I was, today when I look back, I don't know if I will allow my daughter that. I know my parents were terrified, and I stopped communication with them because they were telling me to come back home immediately. So yes, I was in the University of Abuja. I didn't get law. I got sociology, but I decided to do sociology. Simultaneously, I saw that they were selling diploma forms for mass communication. And then that is how my it started for me.
Amazing.
And I started journalism shortly after my university. I had the luck of serving in NTA Abuja.
Oh.
So that's where I was like a kid in a candy store. I got there. I wanted to do everything. I wanted to learn how to write script. I wanted to learn. I was handling cameras. I was simultaneously going
literally a jack of all trades.
Oh my goodness. NTA gave me that platform for me, yes. So I was doing Vox Pop. They used to call me the queen of Vox Pop because just say the word, I'm out in the street. And I'm very endearing. So when I get to the street, I can always meet people at their lowest, at their highest, and all of that. I could communicate with them and tell them, come tell me what you think about what's going on here. And they were happy to. When my colleagues would go there and struggle and say, people don't want to talk, I just knew how to get them to open up and all that. So I fell in love with journalism.
Wow.
And that started this story here.
Talk about a lover. You are a lover.
I am.
Well, following
by the way, in all ramifications, I'm a lover.
I see that. But that's really inspiring, I would say. My goodness, at 17.
I thought that wasn't an interesting story.
Oh, that's super interesting. That shows resilience. That shows you are a go-getter. And look at you now. Look at you sitting as a guest. I believe if you hadn't taken that, that step, well, we can never know. But we are super grateful that you took that step. And you are now, seated, facing other, audience and motivating other young persons that would want to go into media or do something outside of media. Absolutely. This is truly an inspiring story, really.
I'm happy it's inspiring someone.
It is. Well, you've gotten a lot of recognition, awards and all of that. Now, I'd love you to share with us, how do those recognition make you feel and how do they contribute to, helping you, not just motivating you to, keep pushing forward in your career?
So I still have a serious imposter syndrome where I get an award. I'm like, do they even know that I don't deserve it? There's things I want to achieve and I have not even scratched it. A couple of years ago, I and some people started the Female Journalist Network Nigeria. So the whole idea of that initiative, association, if you call it that, is to gather young people. I struggled in the industry where, I needed someone to hold my hand. I needed to build capacity for these journalism that I love. I went ahead to do several other certificate courses that equipped me in the profession. However, there are a lot of young ladies in the profession who struggle. I know how I had to stay back, even though I had a family, I had young children, just to learn editing. Because I wanted to be the whole 9 yards of television production, broadcasting. So I wanted to learn editing. There was no one who wanted to teach me. They were teaching the boys. So I stayed back to learn editing. I do directing for TV. I direct you. I can tell you the rules in directing. That's because I stayed back. I took insults. I didn't care just to do it. So I wanted the platform to build capacities for female journalists in the profession. I wanted above everything so that, because I am very passionate about women issues, women rights issues, women and children, really. Yeah. So I went all out to say, let's have an association of us so that are intentional about amplifying the voices of women in the media. If you read newspapers, I do newspaper reviews every morning. It embarrasses me. You see really trivial stories take center stage of the newspapers because, again, we want to sensationalize and sell. But we forget the child who has been molested by a teacher or some adult who should protect this child. So if you avoid in the media such stories, you embolden others who understand that it won't even make headline, nothing will happen. They say it all the time. You hear people say, and so what? You know? So it was, I wanted women who have strived. I also understand the work struggle for women. We have peculiarities that society must understand. We have, you would give birth, you would get married. Unfortunately, for some employers, that is a problem in the media space because they want you active at all times, ready to go to the field, which, by the way, is not a bad thing, but understand our peculiarities. You understand that these are things you should expect from this gender. So it becomes a hurdle for young women and women to grow in the newsrooms. So these are the issues that I thought the organization could address, and we've been thankfully doing a lot. And so that's how it started. Now a lot of people are giving recognitions because, you know, when you call people and say, oh yeah, let's do this, people are like, oh my goodness, you're doing so much. I'm like, I've not even scratched it. I've not scratched it because if there's a young girl like me who was in an establishment with no employment. I was a contract staff for NTA for several years, even though I was producing flagship programs. Unfortunately, but that's true. I needed mentorship. If there is such a young person who is still needing mentorship, then I've not done my work. And there's the landscape, the media landscape is changing, which is even making it more porous and making it difficult for journalists, professional journalists, first of all, to keep their head above water, then talk about the woman who already had challenges before this changing landscape. So there's so much work to do. And when I get recognized for the smallest, I'm like, no, I don't think I deserve to be here. So that's how I've been approaching those recognitions that often come. I'm like, no, not yet. There will come a time. I still have that imposter syndrome because I recognize the magnitude of issues that abound.
Wow. You know, I will tell you how I feel. If I had an award now, I definitely would present it to you.
No, thank you.
So, no, I would, because it's amazing. It's really amazing. As a lady also in media, of course, we understand the peculiarities. Aside the fact that, of course, you get to go to school, you can go to any TV school, whatever, learn what you need to learn, gain experience, then come into the workforce and all of that. There are some persons that don't even have that privilege to do that, but they have the passion, they have
Absolutely.
the love. Those kind of people need people to hold them by the hands. You can't just leave them and say they are not fit. Absolutely. Of course, in media, you know better. Experience is
everything.
It's everything. You can't just come and say, I want to learn. And no, people don't really have time for you. But when you see people that are ready to teach you what they know, even with little or no experience that you've had, it's worth giving them that recognition. Absolutely. So that's that imposter. I don't want to act like a pastor, but that imposter syndrome, fire. Out. Well, you talked about breakfast show. And of course, Aso TV, you've been a host in the breakfast show for quite a while.
5 long years.
5 long years. Amazing. That's
right.
Quite a while. 5 long years. And definitely you have some exciting, you know, when we're having this conversation off air, you said you're a morning person. I'm like,
I am.
Morning person.
I am,
but definitely being a morning person comes with its own, sides of course. I want you to share with us the excitement. What gets you exciting or put you in an exciting mood being a morning person? And judging by the fact that you were a host on a breakfast show for 5 years, and what's the challenging aspect of that?
Okay, so the beauty about hosting a morning show for me would be absolutely waking up in the morning unsure, because I'm, first of all, the kind of, you can't put me in a bottle. It's difficult to say, because I spoke very passionately about engineering or about geography, about Nigeria's economy. That is what I do. That's where I'm good at. No, that's absolutely not it. So I enjoy having to study, research across board. I am not a journalist that is that has a beat to cover say, oh yeah, Joy covers climate change. I want to cover climate change, and by the time I'm passing, I have a nose for stories, so I could also see where live angle stories are and all of that. So the morning show gives me an opportunity to have a voice on almost everything. So you wake up there and there are headlines that have different, it now boils down to what you have learned so far, the residual knowledge on that aspect.
Yeah.
And nothing excites me like seeing something I have no idea about. So it challenges me to go read up on it. I'm excited to see something new. So that's what it does for me. I wake up, there are newspaper review segments. And because the breakfast show, often we have an array of guests, from professionals to the seller in the market. A couple of days ago, I had a young man who he's living with disability, but he's also does solar. It was exciting to have his take on it. I get to hear him out, and he could sit at some corner and beg. He could definitely do that, and society will give him a break. But he's not doing that. He's trying to do something about his life. Just like I've had opportunities to also interview essays to the president. I've interviewed ministers as well. It's exciting. And the aspect that excites me most is no matter when I go to bed, even if I go to bed at 4 a.m., at 6 o'clock, I'm preparing to leave my home. I am up and excited for the day.
Because you've been doing it quite often.
Exactly. And it's something I enjoy doing. I don't think there will come a time I'll be tired of the media. I love to have my voice and opinion as well. I love to unravel. I love to tell stories. And because that platform gives me an opportunity, the morning show is something that gives me an opportunity to do that. So it's exciting. Now, the challenge there sometimes is we are in a climb where a lot of people still view the media as the enemy. Like, I don't want to say something that would be misconstrued. I don't want to annoy. It's safer not to be in the spotlight. So sometimes a story breaks. For instance, Abuja Kaduna train derails, and you want to have a passenger who experienced it discuss it. Or you want to have officials whose job it is to even give statement, discuss this. I am surprised to know that nobody wants to talk. And you're like, excuse me, you should be willing to relay this information. Be it even just for the fact that you do not want the wrong information out there. Because if there's a lacuna, there's speculation. But you are the one who knows the objectives, the projected benefits, and all of that. And here you have an opportunity to speak.
And you are running away from it.
You are, please, I don't like media. So that's sometimes what frustrates me about my job, where people just like, no, you know what, I really do not want to associate. But beyond that, when you do call I like to call myself a developmental journalist, one that wants to see the good and not necessarily, I don't want to embarrass you. That's not journalism for me. And I don't want to talk more than you, because I know that if I had the facts so much, there would have been no need for you.
Of course.
But that, unfortunately, is the kind of media landscape we are experiencing, where journalists come and questions become an entire explanation. Sometimes the guest is there just listening. And if you if you just tune into a certain shows, you ask yourself, who is the guest? If you're such a resource person, God, why did you need to call a resource person? It's okay to have the depth of knowledge. What that depth of knowledge should do is inform your questions. Ask them intelligently from the place of depth, and not take over the entire show. And the guest is like, I'm here when you're done.
Let me just put my input. You do the talking.
You do the talking. So yes. So that's the exciting and sometimes not exciting part of my shows.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah, but believe me, it's a fantastic. I love the morning show.
I can see the glow in your face talking about your
absolutely.
job. Well, we're going to go on a short break now. When we return, Empower Her continues. Stay with us.
everybody has a stake in making the world a better place with love and compassion. As we thrive daily, we continue to strive to face the many challenges that faces our Earth, because together, we all matter. On one side, we are exploring the captivating stories, the trends, the glamour, while on the other hand, we're looking at the love, the care and compassion from our champions. In our Stars Quiet Cove lies the burning passion for humanity, which is seldom known and unsung to the world. Join me on Famed to look at the flip side of your favorite beyond the regular.
Welcome back. This is Empower. And of course, we are still with our delectable journalist, Joy Asonye. Well, Joy, you know, of course, you are aware, but let me remind you that lots of journalists look up to you.
They do?
Yeah, of course they
I
do.
don't know.
We have lots of young journalists looking up to you. And of course, with this, your story you've shared, many more would look up to you.
You know you're pressuring me, right?
No, forgive me, please. I would like you to share what daily habit or what mindset have you kept along the way that have kept you going and pushing, you know, beyond all the challenges and all the others?
I would say top of my head would be the fact that I don't shy away from hard work. I think my dad instilled it in me. I read a lot of books growing up. He was the kind of father who would wake up, read a book, then give pass to us, because he's big on censoring. So he will read a book, ensure that it's something we can read and then pass to us. And one thing he kept saying, or in fact in my home, he would there's this thing, hard work pays. Like you cannot shy away from hard work. So that's I never say no to jobs because it's going to be difficult. No, I never. I'll just share something. I had an accident, a ghastly accident some time ago, and excuse me, and it affected my voice, my vocals. And this is me on the morning show all the time. I was bedridden for 6 months.
My goodness.
That's how bad it was. But above everything, it affected my vocals. And the doctors told me, oh my goodness, Joy, it's unfortunate you do what you do, but you may never be able to project, to speak out, right?
Okay.
And I resolved that was it. That's going to be my reality. So let me think of other things to do. This is me who enjoys the media, enjoys broadcast media especially. So another doctor told me that there were exercises, was difficult. My cords were not vibrating. That's the layman term that they used. My cords were not vibrating. And at that time, my hand, I needed physiotherapy as well. And the doctors were like, this is going to be one of the most difficult things you've ever had to do, because you would need therapy to come back to being your old self. I tell you, I remember telling them that there is nothing I would not do to get back to my old self, to be able to use my hand again and to be able to project and speak. You can tell me it's not possible, it's this, but don't tell me it's hard work, because if it's hard work, I'm ready. So that's what, and today you can hear me. I can talk to you, you can hear me.
Exactly.
There came a time in my life where your ears are in my mouth and I'm trying to talk and I could not talk. I was trying, like the voice was not coming out. You won't believe it. And this is not too long ago. This is like 2 years ago, just 2 years ago. So hard work has never been something I shy away from. In fact, bring it on. I love challenges. I love to know that there is something I do not know that I can once again surmount. So constantly, I'm constantly delving 2 feet in. Sometimes I wake up and like, seriously, who sent me this one? you know. But I have also realized that it may not be it may not be blossoming. I did not pick a career that would get me as a Dangote. I picked a career that is more of service and your hard work. And you are always going to be an unsung hero. Society may not even recognize what you do as a journalist. They expect it. They wake up in the morning, turn on their TVs and radios. They expect it. They forget that it takes blood, sweat, tears sometimes. Sometimes you are in the worst of moods, but you keep a smile because you know what? That's your job. You know, you don't even have, I know journalists who have certain jackets and shoes that they leave in the studios because they can't afford to change shoes and this thing. So they come looking very smart and have those conversations. I know journalists who are very popular but do not even have vehicles to drive around. That's the job that we picked. It requires service. You are always going to be an unsung hero. So when it comes to what keeps me awake, it has nothing to do with revenue or gratification from my profession. It has everything to do with the need to serve and do your job good. Because you really do not want to misinform or disinform. You are very careful to ensure that as news breaks, if you are analyzing that Nigerians trust, anyone watching you trust, that no, if she said it, she often does her research. If she said it, then it must be authentic. Oh, this news has broken, but let's hear her analysis of what just happened, because we trust that she must have done the analysis. So that's who I want to be when I grow up. Amazing. The one person that they can trust for factual stories and information, not to mislead anyone.
I must say you're already on your way there.
Oh,
I think you're really close. Really, really close. All right, I'm going to read out something. It's a report, and I would just, of course, want to hear your opinion about it.
Absolutely.
Now, on the 12th of May, 2025, the 7th Global Media Monitoring Project did research of gender in media worldwide. The GMMP examined and saw selected indicators of gender biases, stereotyping of women's presence in relation to men in print, broadcast, and online content. They further said in the research that the statistical and qualitative data on gender inequalities perpetrated in and through the news power advocacy worldwide for evidence-based change in media policy and practice. Now, based off on this research, what's your opinion about this as a woman in media? And of course, bear this in mind that it's a recent research.
I mean, May is really
very recent.
I mean, this is a research that has not unraveled what we have been screaming about all the while, that there are biases that we face in the media.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we are only just coming a bit. I mean, we are getting better. And that's also because the media landscape has changed. It's not always changed for the worse. We are happy to say that it has changed to an extent where women are not stereotyped. There was a time that as you start your media organization, there are certain kind of young girls you would put on your platform. Unfortunately, but it's true. It happened in the banks. It's only recently that we see media organizations doing something towards content because of the competition that has come. So while we celebrate those competitions, it's also very rife. There are individuals who are really good, but they tell you straight to your face, you really do not have the kind of face we want on our platform. Right there. And not necessary. And it happened to me, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yes, it did happen to me, where there was an opportunity to anchor a weekly program for an organization that I worked for. I used to do, I've been around for a while, an organization I worked for. And they said, you know what, you don't have the face for media. You don't have the face for the kind of the event we want. They wanted to be somebody like you, by the way, like light skin, petite, light skin, petite, and all that. It didn't matter that I could handle my own. I understood the depth of this project. I could do it well. But what they wanted was someone who I eventually had to script for, basically produce for, script
the presenter.
Yeah, the presenter they got, shiny babe, it eventually had to produce for, basically. So I understand the biases that women have faced over the years. There are accusations. Oh, they see you thrive in the media. It is not because of what you have brought. It is because of who you've been sleeping with. There's several women face in the media. But just like the men will shove off such, if it came to them, would dust it off and move on and laugh over it and even yap themselves on top of the matter. I want women to be that resilient, to say, you know what, I am not deterred because of what these people are saying. Conversations will come. People will say, I've sat in places where someone comes up and they're like, oh, we know who this person must be with. That's why she has. I'm like, you can't say that. Because whoever that girl has been with, the person is not just with her alone. He must have been with others. Where are the other girls he's been with? There's something about her. Please give her the credit she deserves.
Exactly.
The biases are real.
They are
The
real.
biases are real. And a lot of men will say, I do not want my wife's face out there because of such things. So where would you start in this conversation? There are several. The list is too long for us to go through. So I agree with this report. It in fact reiterates what we have been saying over the years as to the problems women face with them being out there in public. So yeah, I agree with it, and it's unfortunate that it is what it is. And by the way, it's not African, it's not Nigerian, it's global.
It's global. It's global. I have a bias to want to let you continue speaking because, of course, you're talking about our field, but time, of course, we're working with time. Thank you so much, Joy. This has really been an amazing conversation.
I've had a good time.
I've had an amazing time. Thank you once again. Your depth of knowledge, thank you for sharing your challenges, your struggles, everything you've shared with us is something someone can literally hold on to, and it could be a stepping stone for someone to get to that height. So thank you once again.
Thank you so much.
Well, that's it on Empower. I am your host, Sharon Ajay. Until next time, see you again.